Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our audience watching Righteous Way, Righteous A. I'm Shiadi, and this is Shima with us today.
Welcome to our program.
This is episode 11 of what Miles Guo revealed about the CCP virus and pandemic. There has been quite a lot of news recently, but with all the recent happenings and sudden occurrences, we can also look back to the past and just refresh our memory on what Miles Guo shared, specifically on this topic. So we'll continue from what we shared last time. I remember last time we were talking about how the CCP uses the guise of religion and serving the people as a way to mask their true ideology, which is serving themselves, actually, and how they are using this as a tool in many ways to further their control. And we also reiterated that for many other countries, even if you have different political sides or parties, it's best, if you're democracy, you must unite together to take down the CCP, because that is the only way we can save the people.
Yes, you hit the point.
So we'll continue with what Miles Guo shared on the 7th of March 2020. So this was shared during a live stream. It always blows my mind how much information Miles Guo has in each live stream. It's hours long, which always feels like we're still sharing the same day, which is true. He said no one in the world is prepared for the catastrophic consequences of the CCP virus, nor for the massacre of humanity it would cause, nor for its impact on the entire economic and financial landscape. All this hasn't come yet. We've seen this steep fall and the various decisions the US has made. The final result will be just like what our whistleblower movement shared. We won't want these things to happen, but they will.
Yeah. When we trace back all of the information shared by Miles Guo in 2020 on 7th March, actually, I think all of this information is represented to all of the people in the world, in the whole world. Most of the people still think CCP virus is, disappear, and the pandemic is also on another page. So if we look back all of the information and link to what is a reality we already have in our daily life, and you might know that is not the version, the mainstream platform to show or to, to reveal to the people. That means, in other words, as Eddie mentioned to you at the beginning of this program, I might say Miles Guo is really important figure to be the whistleblower movement leading image to warn the whole world what the dark era we are in and what we should do to not only prepare for the CCP virus or whole pandemic thing, but also the consequential effects.
Yes, like all of this.
No ending.
Most of the cases now have disappeared, and we feel like the economy is on its way back to normal. People are getting jobs again.
We're still at the low tide.
Yeah, we are still at this very declining rate.
Yes.
And I just feel like a lot of these different economy points and also the market just hasn't gone back to what it was before the pandemic.
Yes.
I remember even for events, I feel like there has been less shops, there has been less people shopping in the mall. All of these contribute to what happened, and it's a very important notice. It's a detail we can say is a consequence of the CCP virus. And we must say once again, as a refresher, that this was a totally intentional release of the virus by the CCP from the Wuhan lab. So in our first episode of this series, we mentioned the origin, which is probably one of the most important points that you can talk about, because if you don't know where this came from, how can you solve this problem?
Yes, if you don't know the truth and facts and the real story of CCP virus or the pandemic, this is a pandemic.
Plandemic, yes.
Pandemic thing. Actually, you cannot get ready for not only for the past, but also for the present and also for the future. And I can provide you some real story happened in Australia around me, because I got some friends. One is in Sydney. It's a biggest city in Australia. And also, it got a prosperous market there. But my friends sold 3 different properties of theirs.
Well,
yes.
If she had 3 properties in Sydney,
yes,
then she must have had quite a lot of wealth.
And also to empty their savings, their life savings, to sustain or maintain its company's running. Because during several years of pandemic, the lockdown and open, the policy and the different, political measures and different local councils, treatment to the people. So the company cannot get the normal running or cash flow. That's why if they want to keep their team to make the company to run, and they have to get the whole employee team got their normal pay.
Yes.
But actually you cannot got the, normal running, the company's beneficial.
If you don't have the steady income, how can you have a steady purchase?
If the company haven't any, normal income, I mean the whole, big gain of the market gain, and how can it to provide the income to the employee, the wages?
It does feel like a very difficult question. So I think this pandemic was a huge financial blow, especially to CEOs or to company owners, shop owners, restaurant owners, all of these. Because if people can't go outside and they can't shop, and of course, these places, they cannot generate income. It's just that simple. And all of this, it's not just the financial impact, but also an impact on your lifestyle.
Yes.
On your life standard. So we've seen a lot of people's life standard lower as a result of not having enough money to sustain themselves.
Yes. Just now you mentioned the lifestyle, Eddie. Have you noticed for Australian people, at the beginning of the pandemic, if you wear the mask and going in the street, you will be very bizarre and crazy people and fewer people there. But at the end of the pandemic, if you hasn't your mask on your face and you walk in the street, you will be that craziest person and everybody
it was a
cannot
table
accept
flip.
it. Yes, that been through a lot of tragedy. A lot of people are forced to wear the masks, no matter what kind of the situation. And also another difference, if we compare the lifestyle at the beginning or before pandemic, or the, lifestyle in our community after pandemic or the end of the pandemic, you will find before the pandemic in our city, the capital city, Canberra in Australia, you can find easily every weekend the shopping mall, the big shopping mall packed with people, very busy at every weekend. But after that, at the end of the pandemic or after pandemic, you will notice the difference is with a lot of shops and stores closed and the business. And also another sign is the difference is in a big shopping center, fewer people now. If you go to the shopping center or big plaza, the busy zone of the city, you'll find much fewer people there.
Much quieter.
Compared to, very quiet.
Much less people, much less shops. So all of these things, we have to ask ourselves what caused this. It's just that simple, because the origin is here, and Miles Guo have shared this for so long. So at least recently in these couple months, we've seen some major breakthroughs in intelligence and transparency of information. It's very good to know that there at least are documents online, totally free now for people to view, that validates what we shared in the whistleblower movement. Now, another sentence, what Miles Guo said in the last sentence is, we don't want these things to happen, but they will. He explains another thing that has always been a subject of concern in the movement, which is if we share these predictions to people, and it's usually those pretty stark predictions, especially when we predicted the virus would come out and the CCP would release it, what happens afterwards. A lot of people don't want to believe it because these predictions sound so horrible.
Yes.
Nobody wants it to happen. We don't want it to happen either because
but
we
they
don't
will
benefit from
happen
it.
if you keep the CCP, if you keep the communism system in this world, and these catastrophic consequences of the CCP virus or the future virus, we don't know what kind of the land it could be, but it will repeat.
Yes.
It will do it again.
As long as the CCP is still in control of this country and of the control of many labs around the world,
Yes.
then this is a huge concern. So,
Technology is not that, out of your imagination. It's
Yes.
easy to make new virus, like CCP virus, in the laboratory. Not only P4, but sometimes for some virus, deadly virus or infectious virus, it can easily made in P3 laboratory.
yes. So these things show you it is so easy for them to release it.
Yes.
But once they do, the end result would take years for humanity to take in the consequences
Yes.
and rebuild.
Right.
Years and decades of rebuilding and healing to get back to where they were before the releasing of this virus. So once again, we also say it doesn't matter whether you look at this information or not would affect the CCP doing what they want to do. If you forgot about our predictions, or if you pretend this didn't happen, this still did. The information and truth is still there.
Yes. And also the after trauma effects will keep impact people's
is.
life.
Miles Guo also shared, when the Chinese Communist Party is finally gone, Communist China's economy is dead, and Hong Kong's government officials are away, the Hong Kong people will be reborn. This will absolutely be the greatest historical moment for Hong Kong, and everything will begin here. When the streets of Hong Kong are filled with triumph, when people no longer need to wear masks, when these few thugs are gone, when the international community allows Hong Kong to be reborn, that will be the end of the virus. The virus started in Hong Kong, and it will end in Hong Kong. It's absolutely not New York. It certainly won't be Beijing, and it won't be Wuhan. We'll see. This is destiny. The killing and suicides of 7,000 people in Hong Kong are the beginning of everything. The end will mark the rebirth for Hong Kong people and Hong Kong's return to the international community. This is Hong Kong.
Actually, this paragraph, all of these words Miles Guo shared to the people in 2020 on 7th of March reminds me of today, reminds me of July the 1st. Yes, because if you got some understanding or knowledge of 1997, the handover from the Hong Kong's handover from the British region to the CCP government. That is the historical, happening at that time. But sadly, with 156 years occupy or being the British colony, Hong Kong actually got very strong and solid democracy base. But after that, after the handover from British region to CCP government, Hong Kong just, going down, just falling down. So,
in a steep decline.
Yes, and falling down so quickly because CCP is a gangster and monster government, and the democracy cannot be maintained under its control.
Yeah, it's actually a very interesting thing how some people expect a dictatorship to acknowledge its words and to keep its promise not to control Hong
It's a
Kong
big joke.
directly.
You cannot require the dictatorship region to keep its promise.
As long as you give them control of something, they will not hold back. They can tell you, oh yeah, I will respect the rules. It's easy to say,
no rules at all.
But they just won't respect it.
Yes.
Just think about how they treat their own people inside communist China, and that's how they would want to treat the Hong Kongers as well, because they're in control of that region. As it's even more clearer now in 2026, where pretty much all of the politics, society, and education are controlled by the CCP.
Yes,
in Hong Kong.
You are right.
Yes,
Very good.
We don't want to see this. We don't want to see this happening, but this is the truth. And it's a result of the dictatorship. It's absolutely not a result of the people.
Yeah, don't trust the communism. Don't trust the communism system. And don't trust anyone in that communism background, especially for CCP. Because take Hong Kong as a very good example. That's the example Hong Kong citizen got, their blood to know the lessons. That's the lesson the Taiwan people wouldn't like to know, and all the other, people, they cannot understand, but they should, notice that.
Yeah.
With so-called, one system, two country, one system, one country, two systems. I don't know what exactly.
I think it was one country,
two systems. Yes, that's right. But just as Eddie asked, will it be maintained, or will it keep its promise, or will they keep their agreement, international agreement?
Yes, and
because they cannot respect any rules.
I'm actually doing some legal studies for homework, and what I learned about the international legal system was that it's very different from the single country's legal system, which means an important way to maintain it is mutual agreement between two countries or two states. And so if they break the promise, then they will risk sanctions, or they will risk breaking the international law, and other countries will no longer trade or cooperate with them.
Yes, of course. No credit, no trust.
And over here, the CCP has broken its promise internationally by taking over Hong Kong. And this is another reason why we tell other countries to decouple the CCP, because this is just a direct result of their own actions. They deserve to be isolated from the international
Yes, as
community.
we mentioned, if one cannot respect the rules, who can play with it?
No one.
No, there couldn't be any fair play. We should ask anyone involved in the play, if you want to play the games, you should do the fair play. Is that right?
Yes.
But they cannot do that.
So if you want to see more about how we talk about the data, so we talked about the so-called 7,000 suicides of people inside Hong Kong. This was mentioned in our 4th episode of this series, and this is also another way of a cover-up by the CCP to cover up dissidents, to just completely erase them.
And even the figure could be, many more.
Yeah,
this
the
is
number
just
could be much higher.
Some figure in roughly, statistics. But also, I would like to mention or if possible, I still got some picture in my mind. I don't know how many people still can remember that short video clip. That's very impact me until now, because there is two long train and goes from Hong Kong to mainland China. A lot of Hong Kong people are arrested by the Hong Kong police force and send them back to CCP controlled mainland China. And a lot of people still ask the question, where are the young people?
Yeah, where did these people go?
In the two trains.
Where did they go? To this day, nobody knows.
Nobody knows the result.
So we can say it's a very tragic event.
Yes.
From the anti-nationalist law protest in 2019 to what we see today, which is basically the total control of Hong Kong by the Communist Party.
Yes.
And because they control it, the people's rights and freedom have totally deteriorated since then and have completely broken down. And I even heard people say that the language in Hong Kong now, the main language is Mandarin. It's no longer Cantonese. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's another, I think it's something we can call cultural genocide, because it's a forceful removal of people's language.
Local culture.
Yes.
Or the dialect there.
And the erasure of minorities. So this is a horrible thing to see, but it is what's happening.
Yes, because they want to eradicate or they want to get rid of people's language at first, and then they will let your culture root or the culture of region disappear in future very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, there's something that the CCP would always market as is unification. You would always hear them say that or advertise that. They also say unify Taiwan, but actually it's just to maintain and expand their control. None of it is actually about taking care of a region or taking care of the people. They can't even take care of the mainland Chinese people.
Yes, I agree with you. And one simple question is, any government, we don't care what kind of the government you should be or you're supposed to be or you pretend to be. If you can let your people to leading a better life than others, if you got, rich people, or if you got, better chance to live or
and
to develop,
economy,
people will come to you.
Yes,
people will come to you.
naturally.
Everywhere the people will come to you. But if you cannot let your own people to have a good life as good as others, and you force other people to go to you, it's just ridiculous. It's impossible.
So I think this is a message from Miles Guo back in 2020.
Yes.
And I think it's very interesting to see how the times have changed since then, because he says the virus started in Hong Kong and it will end in Hong Kong.
Yes.
So that's a very interesting thing. We also mentioned that in previous episodes.
Yeah,
but
many people just know the virus from Wuhan city, but actually CCP virus is the first tool or the very important, crucial tool they used to harm the Hong Kong people.
Yes, it was first used in Hong Kong.
Yes.
We won't delve too much into this topic because of limited time.
Okay.
But let's continue. Hong Kong will change the world for the third time. In the Opium War, Hong Kong changed the world. Before that, it was the Sino-Japanese War. This time, Hong Kong will become a landmark event in the demise of the CCP. It starts in Hong Kong and will end in Hong Kong. Let's just wait and see.
Yes, Hong Kong is just the first big door opened for the whole civilian movement.
We do hope that there will
that is the
be
first
a day.
door.
Yeah,
yes.
we do hope for a day where we can see the demise of the CCP and the Hong Kong people will be finally free from an oppressive environment and finally be able to build their own country again. So we do hope to see that that day again.
Yes. But, unluckily or sadly, Hong Kong still in dark days.
Yes. The whistleblower movement has entered an era of automatic global elimination of the CCP and a global united effort to destroy it. Now is the era of the CCP's self-destruction.
Yes.
Well, self-destruction is a very interesting word.
That means we needn't do a lot of things as people think, but the CCP system will just collapse.
There's a lot of sayings.
Self-collapse.
There's a lot of sayings in the whistleblower movement as well, and it's all shared by Miles Guo. And there is taking down the CCP with law, taking down the CCP with our truth seeking.
Yes. And with money.
Also, yes. And also with taking down the CCP with the CCP.
Yes.
That sounds kind of like an oxymoron there, but it's actually totally logical because you have to know there are a lot of inside battles within the party, within the party members, between the officials. They're actually, apart from serving their own interests, they also want to take down their political opponents. And what do they mean by political opponents? Well, people that have more money or have more power within the CCP. And these officials would want to maintain their own status while taking money from the other officials. So you can see this is a lot of conflicts and political struggles. We can utilize this to take down the system because none of these systems' interests serve the people.
Yes,
they are too busy.
Right. Yes.
They're too busy fighting themselves to see who has the most power in the end. This is at the detriment of the people's health.
Yes, and also it's very interesting and clearly, if we go to the history, and you can easily find mostly and frequently a lot of, dictatorship region or some kind of region people cannot, going with it. They will be destructive by itself. Because the system cannot to maintain, because that system is not healthy, and that system cannot sustain and cannot last long, and it will go to the end by itself.
Yes, I believe each time there's a meeting within the party, it's always so it can serve the interests of the higher-ups, never so it can serve the interests of the country. Miles Guo said, "We have taken the whistleblower movement international and pushed the CCP into self-destruction, internally, externally, internationally, and financially. Also, the CCP has prepared cremation facilities in Babaoshan, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, as well as cremation production lines, like installation of furnaces. Now, all of these are going to be put to use, of course." Wow, a very important keyword here. Cremation facilities. Can you share about this, Shima?
If according to my own understanding or some information stored in my mind, I think Miles Guo here in 2020 on July 7th of March, actually we got several different information we should notice. And first, here, I would like to point out for the, cremation production line. If I remember, Miles Guo shared to the world, Wang Qisan got the biggest cremation or the funeral business in China.
The cremation
How can
industry.
you imagine that? A top official in CCP system, Wang Qisan, under his name, his family got the biggest business in this kind of, funeral business. Not only that, a lot of, high technology related with cremation facilities or some equipments, even some cars, even some mobile, cremation, equipments, they are movable, portable, movable, different kinds.
Many variations.
And also they can use, freezing and also some, gasification, I don't know, any kinds of technology related with funeral business. In 2018, Miles Guo mentioned, in 2018, the CCP party encouraged the whole system to develop the funeral business. How
Why?
ridiculous there. And
You
also,
will
I should
definitely ask
provide
why.
our, audience another very, crazy figure I read from
Okay.
some newspaper, because some National Bureau statistic, from the CCP government, it provides a figure like, around 2025, the whole death figure in China is around, more than that, is around 10 million, above 10 million.
Wow.
That's yearly, annually. So think about that. This is a big figure.
Well, I don't have much of a I don't have
10
much of a
million,
statistic
above
in
10
mind, but
million each year.
10 million sounds
Yes.
way above average in my
Of
opinion.
course, because the whole Australia is only, with population above 20 million. Yes. So
basically they're losing
half
half
of the
of Australia's
nations-
population
Yes,
every
right.
year. That is crazy.
Very crazy.
Even, okay, you say China's population is large, but
Yes.
this death figure should only be a very small percentage every
you cannot
year.
neglect that. You cannot ignore that.
That is a very, very high figure.
So that means with this figure, you linked with the, cremation facilities developed from, 2018. And also, if the government encourage the whole market to go for the funeral business,
That means there are a lot of people dying.
yes, they know that.
Wow.
They can just with a very accurate prediction in future. There is a big trend. More and more people will die.
Well,
But how can they know?
This is horrible because
This is horrible.
Because instead of actively trying to come up with a solution that
Yes.
prevents people from dying in masses, they are simply accepting the situation and profiting off people's deaths.
So you can quickly draw a very easy conclusion. They got pandemic to plandemic. They got a very evil plan for the people there under this control, because they will send the people into the hell. They let them die. That's very easy to understand now.
Wow. So putting all this together, and from the fact that this is from Miles Guo's intelligence,
Yes.
then we know these mass deaths were all planned. And I
Yes.
think it was
they
also...
just get ready for it.
Yes, it was also another side benefit for the CCP that they can earn money from building these cremation facilities, because
Yes.
people pay
Yes.
to cremate their deceased loved ones. So that's a very crazy
Astonishing,
story over here.
information.
But it's what's happened and a result of the pandemic. Now, I'll do a quick definition for people who don't know what Babaoshan is. If you search online, this is what would come up. The full name is Babaoshan Revolutionary Cemetery. It's only for the highest ranking revolutionary heroes, as they
Yes.
call it, people who have supported the takeover of CCP for China, the land.
Actually,
and the highest ranking officials.
With my knowledge, I read some papers. Babaoshan Revolutionary Cemetery, actually, it's used, in Ming Dynasty, Qing Dynasty, and
Also
then,
that,
yes, because that place got a very good feng shui. If you, got a chance to get into
yes.
there, you can bring some fortune or luck to your offspring.
Right.
Yes,
So
that's why they would like to go to there.
the specific energy and placement there is is something they leave for the privileged people.
Yes, right.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it's a privileged cemetery.
Mhm.
I think a lot
Not
of people might not know there's
Ordinary
something
people
like
can
this.
go there. Yes.
Yes.
Only those privileged, high rank official in CCP system.
Which really says a lot about their different social classes and rigid social systems. This is the result. So we can say that the Communist Party's rule led to so many people's deaths and the entire world's decline over these past few years. This can happen again. So we are sharing the truth about what Miles Guo revealed and also a lot of our own ideas and what we know. But thank you for watching Righteous Way, Righteous Say. We'll see you next episode.
See you.